What's up, guys? This is Kephas. Welcome back to WoW Classic, everyone. We are leveling in Duskwood still, turning in this Worgen quest. Looks like he's giving us another one. Dark Runner Worgen for Cedar. No, not Cedar. Cowler. My bad. Blind guy trying to read here. Okay. Cool. We can go kill more Worgen. But these ones look like the level 29 quest. We will wait a little bit. We'll come back and do that. Like, that'll be one of the last things we do. We'll come back and just farm more Worgen later. That'll be fine. I'm cool with that because you get tons of leather. But today we're going to make our way back over to the graveyard. And we can turn in a quest. Sven has one we can turn in. We can also turn in one for Abercrombie. I could have started over there, but honestly, because we're going to be going along Stitches Road, I figured we would start here. I need to go to the auction house and sell things because my inventory is getting crazy full. Let's see what we got here. We can get rid of... we'll keep those. I might be able to sell that. So, yeah, we'll keep a few things. I'll get rid of these for sure. And we got cloth. We got all kinds of stuff. My inventory is getting pretty full. I need to find bigger bags. Big time. I'm desperately in need of bigger bags. You know what? This isn't going to net me much of profit. I'll just go ahead and sell those. These sell decently well. So I'll keep those. Okay, let's go. Actually, no, there's no way heavy hide is that cheap. Or heavy cloth is that cheap. That's crazy. All right, let's go down. Anyways, we're gonna. Okay, here we go. Gonna go along Stitches Road. You never know when we're gonna run into him. So we're gonna go down Stitches Road. Look at this. Look at this Mechano Peep running, moonwalking backwards. That's funny. What the heck? Well, hey, maybe he'll run into Stitches before me and he'll keep me safe. But yeah, we're gonna go back down along this road and we're gonna go up the graveyard and then head left at the top. And yeah, we'll see what happens. So like, it's still crazy, okay? Like, still playing Classic, and like, there are people everywhere just doing all kinds of stuff, and it's awesome. Also, we're at 75% and almost 27, so we're making good progress too. What I was thinking about today, as we're running along this road and just chit-chatting, is, you know, for one, listen, I really appreciate you guys hanging in here, you know, hanging out with me when I do these, just, you know, playing WoW for a while, talking about God knows what, leveling up a character, and, you know, I appreciate... Ooh, there he is! Oh, jeez. Oh, crap. He just, like, there he was. You know, when you're nearsighted like me, he is very scary. I hope he doesn't see me. Oh, God. That scared the crap out of me, because he was just all of a sudden there. I hope he doesn't come back this way. I'm just glad I saw him, because a lot of times, good. Hey, scared me. Okay, I think I'm safe though. I think I can get back on the road now and keep going. I don't think there will be another Stitches. But yeah, there he was, guys. Hey, I knew sooner or later we were gonna run into him. Gosh, I forget what I was even talking about now. Okay, yeah, we're safe now. I'm oddly still afraid that I'm gonna turn around and he's gonna be right there. Hey man, horror stories. I've been terrorized for the rest of my life. The name Stitches will scare me. But like, we can get a tin ore. Oh, look, there's also a wolf here. Let's go ahead and might as well get some leather. But yeah, so anyways, yeah, thank you. I seriously appreciate you guys, you know, for watching these videos and hanging out with me and, you know, commenting, giving your thoughts about whatever the heck I talk about. You know, I hope it's always, you know, both in this series and also in, you know, the retail series. I've been talking about more. I guess some people might find it controversial. To me, it's just, you know, sharing opinions and generating discussions, just different things that I notice, like to talk about. You know what I mean? So like, I've been enjoying it a lot, you know, and I've been enjoying just getting, you know, just speaking my mind about different things and hoping that people will, you know, listen and be cool and maybe give their opinions, whether they agree or not, and, you know, we can learn, or I can learn, you know, because I'm sure I've got a lot to learn. So, you know, like, it's been a lot of fun, honestly. And but like, so today, like, there's been a new topic that I thought might be fun to talk about, because it kind of like it's definitely something that relates to WoW a lot. But like, I've noticed, like, there's this I've been playing WoW Retail, WoW Classic, other games, you know, Overwatch, and also Final Fantasy 14. It's a little bit crazy how many different games I play, but it's fun. That's what I do, man. Gaming. Is this your job? Yeah, kind of. But like, you know, it's like I'm always like playing whatever. And so I was watching a Final Fantasy video, and I guess like they actually like that game. I don't know if anybody here who watches plays that game. It's a great game. It's a good MMO. Like it's definitely like for me, it's as much fun to play as WoW. I mean, I like it a lot. You know, there are things about WoW I like more, but it's a lot of fun. It's actually very similar. And so the thing about Final Fantasy though is like there's I don't know how to explain it. There's definitely like a, you know, a different mentality in that game. I mean, like WoW was kind of the Wild West. You know, it was like the first big time MMO, and you know, people played it. You know, and we've all dealt with the nasties. We've all dealt with hi Wolfie. We've all dealt with like the elitists, you know, and the people that are, you know, what's your gear score? You can't even be in the same city as me if you don't have a high enough gear score. You know, so like we've dealt with that kind of stuff. And so Final Fantasy, you know, it's newer. Like it wasn't the first. People have been playing WoW for a decade before Final Fantasy 14 came out. So maybe that's why there's a different mentality. But like there's this general seems to be. I mean, I'm kind of new to the game, you know, so I don't know a lot, but it's just the impression I have. There's like a different mentality in terms of how the community in general, and that game has a very strong sense of community, by the way. Like it's different, you know. But it tends to discourage what they call elitism, okay? And it sort of favors a more, I guess, casualistic mindset, which the video I saw referred to it as casualism. I mean, it's a made-up word, right? And it was actually a very interesting take. It's something like, it's kind of like very similar to how I think in terms of a casual mindset versus a elitist mindset. So the thing to know when it comes to that is you can be a quote unquote like a casual player, meaning you play the game at your leisure. You don't really get into the competitive aspects of a game, or you know, you don't get into the raiding, you don't get into mythics for WoW, but you play the game, you level up characters, you do world quests, you make gold or whatever, you might raid every now and then, you might do LFR, okay, I guess that's like more casual, lackadaisical way of playing the game versus somebody who is really into the competitive aspects. They do PvP a lot, they do arenas, they do, you know, mythic, whatever the number, like, you know, high mythics. I don't even know because I'm a casual. But you can be a casual player but not have a casual mindset. Does that make like so? And you just like you can be, I guess, an elite player but not have an elitist mindset, right? So when we talk about the like understanding the difference between being a casual player or playing the game casually and having a versus having a casual mindset, okay? So let's try to explain what a casual mindset is. So we understand, you know, a casual player plays the game casually, right? A casual mindset, well, let's first explain what an elitist mindset is, because that's a little bit easier, okay? So in WoW, we've dealt with it a lot. An elitist mindset, it's the type of person that's like, you know, what's your gear score? You can't even be in the same room with me, the same city with me, certainly not the same dungeon with me, if you don't have a high enough gear score, right? That's an elitist mindset. You're playing the game wrong, dummy. Learn to get good or whatever, right? Now, I actually think that, like, you know, jokingly saying get good isn't a bad thing, right? But, like, you know, but in serious, like, being serious, like, you know, calling people scrubs because their DPS isn't as high as yours, or because they haven't invested as much time as you, you know, you're like high ranking, whatever bullcrap, whatever it is, people call it EPing, you know, people that sit around in cities with their, like, gear, like acting like they're like the most amazing thing ever. Like that's kind of a, and I mean, not in the sense of like, hey, look at me, I got this cool gear, look how awesome it is, you know, whatever. Like people will like, I remember back in the day with literally people would sit in town for hours just to show off their mount from the achievement they got that was like a hard achievement, or the gear they earned, like, oh my god, look how amazing I am. It's like, bro, it's a video game, right? Like I mean, good job. That something to be surely proud of. But like to just sit around in town all day, like, I mean, why not play the game? That's weird. But that's the mind of an elitist. An elitist, thinks very highly of themselves based entirely on their ability to perform in like the game or whatever. And what's funny is it's not specific to video games at all. Like it really. So my stepdad used to coach our church, okay, co-ed softball league. Okay, funny thing about that, there were elitists in that league. There were people in that league that acted like they were the best thing since Cracker Jacks. Like they were the that's a Angels in the Outfield quote. Or no, it's not. It was a Rookie of the Year quote. Like they thought they were the best thing to come to softball, baseball, to co-ed church league softball since ever. Like they were basically like the most amazing player ever. They could hit the ball, they could slide in the home plate. Like they took it seriously. And honestly, to a degree, my stepdad was one of those people. He was very competitive. He wanted people to play to win, which that's not a bad thing, okay? That's not even necessarily an elitist. An elitist is somebody who just thinks so highly of themselves and thinks that they're better than you because they're better at that whatever the thing is than you are. Like, so people think they're better than you because they have a higher gear score than you in WoW, or they've completed higher mythics than you, or whatever. They completed the raid on mythic versus you, who's completed the raid on, like just normal, I guess. So they're better than you. They're a better person than you. That's kind of what an elitist is. They might mock you, insult you, or whatever. What an elitist is not, as this is kind of what the video was saying as well, and this is what I agree with. An elitist is not someone who comes to you and tries to help you with your rotation. Hey, I noticed that you were using this when you probably should have used this instead and maybe use this here. Or, hey, maybe we can help you get your gear up by going and doing this raid. Or, maybe you should go do this to help that, okay? Giving you, friendly advice, that's not what an elitist is, okay? That's giving advice. Or someone who said, like, this is something in Overwatch, someone who's playing to win, whether it's in competitive or quick play or whatever, or in softball, anything. They want, like, if you're raiding, you want to win, you want to beat the boss, okay? A casual mindset, and this also exists in everything, are people that'll say things like, oh, like, winning, like, this used to drive my stepdad so crazy when he would have someone on the team that basically was like, I'm not here to win, I'm here to have fun, right? And so, like, you'll notice that they don't really try as hard as they probably could. They don't put the effort in that they probably could that might help the team win, and they might be a better player. And so that then the other person gets called an elitist when they're not really being an elitist. They're just, they're trying to win. People, like, there was a big debate about this on a Facebook page I had the other day. Like, you people are tryhards. Video games are for fun, not for trying. It's like, I mean, for some people, the fun is part. Like, part of the fun is winning, right? Like, that's not an elitist mentality. That's a pretty common mentality that a lot of people have. They're like, you want to be like, when I play WoW, for example, I'm a casual player, right? Like I am. I don't raid anymore. I play the game. I level up characters. I do, like, if the end game is fun at the time, I might do a bunch of it, but in general, like, I'm still a casual player, but I try to do my best, right? Like, I try to be as efficient as I can. I try to get as much gear as I can. Within the amount of effort I'm willing to put in, and I go as far as I can. I don't expect other people to make up for my slack or whatever. I just do my best, and that's why I make guides, because I want to help people get better at the game. Okay, that's not an elitist mindset. That's a normal mindset to have. I mean, that's a pretty common, that's a reasonable opinion or I guess mentality to have. Okay, so a lot of people, this is a problem, I guess, in Final Fantasy. This is a problem in every game. People will have what is considered a casual mindset, and a casual mindset is where they label things as being elitist that aren't necessarily elitist. Like, it's people that or people that want to win, they'll call them tryhards. Video games are for fun. It's not about winning or losing. It's about having fun. Which there's truth to that statement, right? That's not a bad mentality to have. You do want to have fun. If you're so consumed with winning that you're not having fun, obviously that's not good either. Okay, but it's still okay and frankly preferable, to balance. There's just like anything else. There's a balance in everything. Like you want to balance that elitist mentality of like if you go too far either way, you're a problem. And this is like something that I've said, and I guess it like put it into a new way of understanding. I've always felt like the people that are that are super competitive or super elitist are just as toxic as people that are super casual. And then that has to, again, that's more about a reference to a person's mindset than it is how a person actually approaches the game itself. Like there's nothing wrong with not wanting the raid. There's nothing wrong with that. What is wrong though is when you label people that do toxic or elitist or whatever, and you misrepresent people because of your casual mindset. Does that make sense? Like, I hope that makes sense. Like that's like it's hard to explain because it's like you're using like. Well, and what happens a lot of times, like, it was always like the casual term kind of came from like a negative, honestly, it came from the elitists, right? So like, it kind of gets mixed up, like with like, well, look, I have a family. I don't have time to play the game all the time. Like, I'm not raiding. Like, I just play the game for fun. Like, I'm not, like I do what I do and it's whatever. Okay. That's okay. What people have a problem with a lot of times is the mindset. Like, it's the attitude. The snub, like, sticking your nose up to people that, that do care about, like, that do play more and do, they care about certain aspects of the game that you maybe don't care much about. Like, as long as you are, I guess, as long as you're, really what it comes down to is, as long as you're respectful to each other, you're not super defensive, you're not quick to judge people because they're just trying to help you, and like, oh, you're just an elitist, there's nothing wrong with how I play. Like, it's like, look, I say this all the time. When I make macros, okay, it's a good example. I might make macros, and I always point this out, because it's not an elitist mentality. Look, if you are trying to do a mythic raid, okay, do not use my macros. Because my macros will not get you the results that you need to do that. That's not what they're designed for. Okay, so a lot of people will point that out. Like, look, these are like, whatever you do. Like, some people will be like, don't use these at all because it's, it's bad practice. Like, no. But there are a lot of people that say, just don't use these if you're going to try to raid. Like, yeah, that's a reasonable thing to say because you what matters in a raid is that you fulfill the requirements that are needed of you, set out by the people that made the game to complete the raid. The macros aren't going to be able to do that. Now, that's not an elitist thing to say. What is an elitist thing to say is, you are a scrub for using these, and don't you ever play with me if you play with the controller and use macros. That's an elitist mentality. Now, on the flip side, a casual player, say they go into a mythic raid, right? And they want to use, oh crap, thanks a lot, dude, for bringing these up my face. Okay, cool, at least that one died. Let's get this one. Can you run, please? Can you not fear these guys? Nope, they're immune. That sucks. I might die. Let's just run away. What a casual person might do is say they go into a raid and they use my macros, right? And just like I warned, they don't give them the DPS they need, right? So they're in there. Everybody else is pulling like high DPS numbers. And they're pulling about a third or 2/3 to a half or 25% less DPS than what they probably need. And of course, they don't kill the boss. And everybody's looking at them like, yo, man, are you doing okay? Like, your numbers are kind of low. Is there something wrong? Well, I'm using these macros. Well, maybe you should not use those because those macros aren't help. Like, you're not doing enough damage, right? You need to do more damage to get through this. Then that person who's using the macros, oh, you're just a bunch of elitists. I have the right to play. Don't tell me how to play the game. I play the game however I want. It's my $25 or my 25. It's my $15 a month. You know, that's a casual mindset, because you like, it's also very entitled, because you if you're playing a game, this is for any game, especially games that are like where you're going to be on a team with other people. You have a personal responsibility to your team to do your best, because otherwise you're saying that you are entitled to their time, and I don't think that's fair, and I think that's a very selfish, toxic mentality to have, and I would consider that a casual mentality. I can play the game however I want. It's not any of your business. Don't tell me what to do, you elitist jerk, right? And all the other person's trying to do is help you out so that you can do better and pull your weight, and the team can be successful. And so I guess in Final Fantasy there is a general negative attitude towards people who try to do that. Again, I don't know. Oh, cool. We gotta go back to Darkshire. I don't know for sure, because I haven't played it enough. But I can see that. I can see that happening in WoW, and I can see that happening in Final Fantasy, and I see that happening in Overwatch, and I saw that happening in my dad's softball league. And so it's entirely believable, right? It's a big old spider there. It's entirely believable that people are like that, you know? And so I think that, like, I'd love to hear again what you guys think. You know, I don't think that there is a problem. You know, I think it depends on the game. There might be a collection of people who are more one way or another in each game. But, like, I would say that WoW used to have a pretty strong elitist problem. And it's funny that Final Fantasy seems to have the opposite problem. But, you know, I don't think that one is more problematic than the other. I think that both can be very problematic, generally speaking. Anytime that a person, no matter what their perspective is, anytime they mistreat another person, you know, for anything, or mislabel them, or misconstrue what the other person is trying to say, or try to vilify them, I think that is a bad thing to do. I think that, you know, I think while, like, you know, you should be allowed to play the game however you want. If you want to play WoW with a controller, play WoW with a controller. If you want to use macros, use macros. Do whatever you want. But also, if you're going to play in a competitive setting, or at least in a setting where you're on a team, and you have a team that's relying on you to pull your weight, I don't think it's unreasonable for that team to expect the most from you, to expect you to put your best effort in. And I don't think that makes them elitists. And no, just like I don't think it makes you a casual if you choose, it's not for me. See, like when I raided back in the day, my team was all like, there's actually like a YouTube video for my guild. Sometimes I'll go back and just like listen to them talk, because like it's nice to hear people talk well of you. But there was like my guild had a guild hall at BlizzCon, and I guess like someone recorded it so they could show me, but they were talking about me at the time, and it was very like, you know, it's always nice to hear, you know, like I said, it's nice but when I raided, I used macros, because back then, like, macro, and even still sometimes macros can still work. You can make them work, and they can pull off pretty big numbers. But I used to be top DPS in my raid. Back in Wrath and in Cataclysm, I was top DPS. There was like occasionally like people that were on my raid team that were mad, frankly, that a blind guy who played a paladin and used macros was doing more DPS than them. They would say that, and eventually they were out of the raid team. You know, it wasn't very cool at all. That's a horrible mentality. But like, and I was top DPS, and I didn't like shove it in anybody's face. I'm not like that. I was like, honestly, just as surprised a lot of times. But the reason why I was top DPS at that time, partially because paladins were very powerful, and macros were very effective. But because of my disability, right, I wanted to make sure that when I joined a raid team and I'm playing with my friends, that I gave it my best. I didn't want to feel like other raid members had to pick up my slack. I don't think that's fair. I wanted to pull my own weight, and I didn't want my disability to be my excuse for not being able to pull my own weight and pull what was necessary, that the game says is necessary of me to pull. Right? Because that's when you go into those settings, the game itself requires effort from you. and your team is depending on you to put forth that much effort from you. It's the same thing that I do in Overwatch. Now, there were times, like, in a raid, everybody sometimes would have a job. Sometimes I would, maybe Kephas isn't the best person for this job, right? So, for example, whenever we did, what was the fight in Ulduar with Flame Leviathan? Was that his name? The big tank? Maybe Kephas shouldn't be the guy on the motorcycle trying to put stuff down on the ground. Maybe Kephas is best for just, shooting the things in the sky. And maybe Kephas isn't the best for driving the tank. Because, blind guys can't drive. So that's fine, because I could do something else. And other people would fill those roles. So yeah, that might exist. And people made sure to call things out. Like calling out was very important. Just like in Overwatch. Like my wife is the best call out. Like, yo, watch it, there's a Reaper by you, and it's cool when people are there to like help you, kind of be there to be the strength in your weaknesses, right? That's what a good team does, is everybody has their weaknesses, and then everybody has strengths to counter those weaknesses. That's what a good team is always going to do. But I wanted to make sure that I could pull my own weight and do my best, and so because of that determination, for a while, I was top DPS. And it was a very, it was very encouraging for me to hear, like, for one, hear my team brag about me. We got a guy on our team that's, like, visually impaired, and he's our top DPS. This game's amazing. But that's, it's also good to put forth that effort and learn and try your best and see it work out, and knowing that, like, there's nothing wrong with that, and there's nothing wrong with your team expecting that of you. And, look, my team was so cool. I could have not pulled my own weight, and they would have still let me raid with them. My original raid team was the best people I've ever known since I've been playing this game, and honestly, like, it was about me. Like, I had so much, genuine, like, respect and appreciation for them for letting me be a part of their team, because it was like I was new to raiding, that I wanted to give them my best. You know what I mean? And that's what it was all about. And that doesn't make me an elitist, okay? It really doesn't. Like, we were a pretty casual raid team. We weren't rushing to be the world first or anything. We were just having fun, but we were also wanting to win and kill bosses and do our best and get better gear and we took our time. We eventually killed the Lich King. We eventually finished Ulduar. We did all that stuff, but we were doing it as a more lackadaisical pace, and that doesn't make us casuals, because we still had the mentality of people who wanted to succeed and who wanted to do their best and wanted to down bosses. But we didn't feel pressure. We didn't get upset. We just had fun. That's my mentality, right? That's the mentality that I have. That's the mentality that I find to be preferable. Obviously, if you're like a world first raid team, you want to get that achievement, you might require more of people, okay? But, like, I think it's important to understand that there's nothing inherently wrong with playing the game casually, or playing the game, or trying to be an elite player, and that's like trying to be one of the best. There's nothing wrong with either one of those things. You do what you do. You do what works for you. When your mentality has an impact on other people and their ability to enjoy the game, getting into more of an elitist versus a casual mindset, I think that's when problems come up, right? When your mentality creates problems for others, because say someone's trying to help you out. You didn't ask for the help, but they're trying to help you out. You can always say, no thanks. I'm good. I like play the game I want. You don't have to like attack them and accuse them of anything. You know what I mean? So like that's, and you also like, you're also not entitled to play with them. They have every right to say that, well, hey, look, I appreciate you can play the game however you want. However, our team requires that you put forth as much effort, okay? And if you're not willing to do that, then I wish you the best of luck, right? That doesn't make them an elitist. You have to understand that. You have to be able to understand that you should put, like, if you're going to be able to part of a team, you should be able to put forth the effort that's required of you. And, if you don't, then in my opinion, that makes you that you have a casual mindset and you feel like you're entitled to people's time. And to me, that is just as problematic as someone who's a hardcore, crazy elitist who judges you because you're not as good as them. So that's kind of my thoughts. That's I think it's an interesting topic. I think it's a good way to understand. Like, to me, it's an easy way to understand things, separating the difference of how someone plays versus how someone thinks. And how someone plays is never a problem unless like they're cheating. How someone thinks and how someone treats other people based on how they think, I think that obviously can be a very big problem, and it can ruin another person's experience because of your mentality that, you know, and how you treat them because of it. And I don't think that it's always the elitists that are the problem. So I'd love to hear what you think in the comments below, we can talk about that. But we're going to continue on our journey here in Duskwood, try to get these ghoul fangs someday. We can also go back over here, and there are some ghoul fangs we can get over here, so we can always go back over there. We got to kill wolves anyway, so I might see you guys in the next one. We might head back over there, or we'll be here in the graveyard. I haven't decided yet, but either way, thank you guys for watching. I love having these discussions, and I hope that you guys will give your feedback in the comments below. But either way, I will see you guys on the next one. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, let me know by clicking that like button, and feel free to share it with your friends so they can enjoy it as well. Don't forget, you can subscribe to the channel and click on the bell icon to be notified as soon as new videos are posted. You can also follow me on Facebook and Twitter, and if you'd like, you can support this channel on Patreon. Links to all of this can be found in the description below. This is Kephas. Until next time.